right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. No, that's just because I have not talked yet. You guys should be able to hear me now, right? Good to go? All right. All right, so good morning. Happy Friday Eve. It is today 10:22, so it's one of my daughter's birthdays. That's right, she is 17 today. I told you guys, once October starts, I'm very busy. Lots of birthdays, including myself. Uh, just so much going on. And to top it off, we are busy here in the market, right? It's Friday Eve, Raul. Don't you get it? Friday Eve, man. It's Thursday. He must have thought I said it was Friday. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, ES futures, I always say the future actually shows the future. And what I mean is there's a little bit of volatility last night. You remember there was a catalyst. Some sort of catalyst. The market pulled back. It pulled back into the 34.09 level, which is also the Fibonacci level of this recent rally. And I know it's hard to imagine, but it's actually still bullish, believe it or not. So what I'm looking at right now is this entire range here. And this thing is just coming into about 38%, 40% of that move and holding that level thus far. Now, it did break and make a lower low. Okay. Did break and make a lower low. Now, typically, you've heard me say this before if you've been with me for quite some time. I like to see these flush lows during regular trading hours. And, most traders are going to come out and say something like, hey, we got to retest that low when we open up and so forth. Basically, the way I want to approach this is, can we get above the 3443 level? Let's just call it 3444s. And if we can get above there, we'll be getting above on the daily. I'm looking at the daily here. All right, we'll be getting above that daily 9 EMA. And we'd really like at the end of the day on Thursday, close above that EMA. And then I would expect to move into this red box into the weekend. So like Friday. All right. And so this would make sense to me. This would throw a lot of people off. We'd have a nice rounding bottom here into big names reporting next week. Right? You guys following along there? So that would be the bullish thesis on this. And then the bearish thesis would obviously be if we come back to test this low today and we actually break that low. All right. Now, please understand that a lot of technical traders will be watching that as well. So if you want, just draw a line there. And if we happen to break down, look for it to bounce here around this 3392 or 3393 area. Wait for it to come back up and retest this level. All right. And if it cannot make a lower low, this could be a turnaround point for a move into Friday. Okay. So looking like this. And we still would have, okay, if you want to draw some lines here, something like that. Well, that's crooked. But once it breaks this, again, then I'm looking for that. Still, we have this target here that has not been reached. We have hit this target, all right, and that was 3 days ago. And again, it was resistance. All right, so big level. We took out last night's level here. And really, I'm not too concerned unless we close under there. Let's get into Apple. Now, I did enter Apple a little late because I was given charts and trying to figure out a couple audio issues over here. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that on the big screen. So we're going to do this. All right, and we're going to go ahead and look at Apple. Now, I've already started, just like yesterday. I've already started position here pre-market. I do like options as well, but just with the volatility here, I'm having a hard time trading my options. Um, Not all of them, but most of them have just been, sort of difficult. This is what I'm looking at on the daily. The 9 EMA is, up here at or around 117.85. You can see that we're trading at around 117.35 by 117.37. My blueprint for today is around the 4 hour. The reason why I'm picking the 4 hour is because across the board, uh, almost on most charts that I'm looking at, we're basically just above the 9 or we're just underneath it. All right. And so you can see if you follow this 9 EMA, how when we're in a downtrend, it tends to be resistance. Now, there are a lot of top and wicks. So what this means is during the day, the 4 hour did indeed get over but they've been stuffing us a couple hours after the open. All right. So you can see that by the topping wicks. Topping wicks are a nice indication that there's bearish pressure, obviously. All right. Now, if you don't have scripts or you don't have levels planned on your chart, then you wouldn't know where that's going to reverse. We teach that here at Trendy Trading. We also have our own personal indicators that show where to get out or be cautious. And right here is a trendy edge, and you can see Apple has come into that area. That's a big level. So if we can continue to bid and stay trending, this is going to be the level. If 119 breaks, I think we can get a nice push into 120 and possibly 121. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Long as we can hold this 4-hour 9 EMA, I like to see this continue into 118.20 and 118.97, 119.81. My void for this today, I like to start positions first thing in the morning, you know, and then when I say starter, it's smaller allocation. That way, if for some reason we open up and immediately we go down, then I can be looking at levels to add into. Okay. Still, full allocation is not there. So let's just say you're at 20% allocation here. You know, I can add another 20% here. And then I got another level here, 20% here. And then if price starts to push up from this level and takes out that morning session high, then I can add again. Okay. Put another 40% and then start trimming at targets to the upside. So honestly, during the pre-market, it's just to kind of get your feet wet, you know, get you warmed up in a sense. Okay. All right. So that's my plan for today on Apple. And again, my void would be it's kind of tough right now because I'd like to build a position here with several days down. Um, it's hard to say, but I'm not going in full allocation. So I'm willing to watch this thing, you know, if it needs to come into the gap fill here. Okay. We do have earnings coming up next week, so please pay attention to that. All right, so that's Apple. Let's go ahead and take a look at BABA. All right, so here's BABA. This has been our blueprint since the week started. And you can see I have some notes up here, and I went ahead and updated this morning. And my update just simply says price is consolidating right at the top, neutral, okay, for several days now. The WE stands for the edge here at Trendy Trading. It's holding well, and that's that yellow line. Starters on the day, adds above the high of the week, void under 3075. Let's go ahead and zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so if we zoom in here, this is the neutral. This is the trendy edge. You could see that price is like the trendy edge through here. It has flushed several times, but on a reclaim, it's been a nice trade. This right here is going to be your weekly high. All right, so starters basically within this section, and if for some reason BABA can break over this, I would be looking to add into the position and then looking for this target here at 319.70. Okay, and you'll hear me say things like 70 when you know my alert says 76. I just like to come down a little bit, you know, from my targets. All right, but these are the targets to the upside right now. We do have earnings as well on BABA coming at or around November the 5th, one day after my birthday, right? Just 1 year older. So here we go. 320, 332, and again, void under for right now, especially because it's Thursday, it'd be a void underneath this weekly edge. All right, 11.3. Oh, okay. So my apologies. I have here on Thinkorswim, and this would not be the first time GS that they would be off, especially with BABA, any ER coming out on Chinese names. Well, who knows? You know, last time I had a call, I didn't see what they thought. So, which brings me to my Baidu trade from yesterday. Let's go ahead and review that. This was actually an outstanding trade. It really, you know, I took it on equity. We did what we were supposed to do. I rolled into options. Those options were down about 32% or so, and then they came back at the end of the day. They hit the target that we were looking for, and it came right back down from that target. Today, I'd like to see it round back up and at least try to come back and try those highs again. So you can see it hit our edge. All right. This is where we want to see price at or around 138 to 137 this week. Okay. See if the market can trend today. Let's move over here into Amazon. All right, so Amazon, you'll see here, it's sort of, on the transparent side. Um, we have some rails here. We also have the trendy edge here. So all of this is resistance. And then we have the 9 EMA on the 4 hour. So I just want you to take that in for a second. Your rails may be a little bit different than mine. So I'm looking at, the rail, the trendy edge, and the 9 EMA on the 4 hour. Okay. So all three of those things right here are resistance until proven otherwise. Just like yesterday, I took the trade on Amazon. I'll be looking to trade this as well. If we can break above here and hold this level, I'd really like to see this continue up into 3231 and then possibly 3267. Again, we do have earnings coming up. We are holding the ACDC and we're looking for these targets. The easier trade will happen over these green arrows. But for right now, we are just basically sideways between the decelerator and the accelerator. All right, so that's Amazon. On a pullback, I would be looking just like on the ES, just like Apple, all of that stuff. Can we hold this area? And you can see, always pay attention to these wicks. If I were to draw a wick there, you can see prices come right down into here and found a little bit of support, you know. So just be checking that out. And it's a little gap fill from pre-market. If it pulls back, be checking the 3178 area. All right. Overall trend, lower highs, lower lows right now. So we are in this downtrend. But notice that we did hit the trendy edge and it was resistance, just like it's supposed to be. All right. So again, I believe the majority of the market is looking for some sort of bounce. A lot of people, are trying, and a lot of people are getting run over. But I don't want you to get confused. Being short the market has not been simple either. So a lot of these trades, you're in and out very quickly. And if you're like me, which I know a lot of people out there, regardless if you're a member or you're just a friend or someone I've talked to, a lot of traders are holding longer positions that are holding them back. So mentally, that can be a block in the morning. We open up in the morning, you want to take a trade, but it's almost like it's hard for you to pull the trigger. Now, I don't have an issue with it because it's just a trade to me. All right. But a lot of people will probably open up and have a hard time because their stock might be down, their options may be down, and so forth. The biggest thing for me is to push forward, take my levels, take my trades, use my stops, and move on. All right. All right. So saying that, let's go ahead and go over a few things. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask. We got Facebook here. All right, so Facebook looking really good. Nice little pullback into the trendy edge. Notice that the 4 hour is confluent with the levels that I gave you yesterday. This was a great trade for us. I believe I trimmed close to 100%, and then they got up to about 140 on those spreads. And then I'm basically looking for 285 to 300 into earnings as long as these 4 hour levels are going to hold. And really, we could move down into the daily since I have about 2 weeks on those. Okay. Now, as far as today is concerned, you can see we are underneath right now, underneath the accelerator. And notice that any level that I have on my chart is going to be resistance until it's not. You can see over here that resistance is 280.88. It's pushed into their pre-market and pull back. This is your key number. Let's see if we can get over, let's just round it up and say 281. If we can hold 281 30 minutes to an hour, most likely we're going to push up into this high. And then from there, look for 283.61 and possibly 287. All right. And again, pay attention to this 9 EMA, the levels at or around 276.65 on Facebook. For me, it's a void under there if we're talking about weekly. Okay. Notice as we get closer to the end of the week, especially Thursday, if you're playing weeklies, be super careful. That's where the theta really hits you, okay? And you want to decrease time, okay? If you're only trading for Friday's expiration this week, you don't want to be opening up a weekly chart. We want to do that on a Monday, all right? All right, so here's Tesla. So I gave you guys some levels here. So this is the bigger picture, the red and the green. All right, and if you notice, if we were to measure between these two, we're about 50% of the way. When you're about 50% of the way somewhere, you usually run out of gas, don't you? Right? It's that indecision point. That's where things slow down, where bears and bulls are basically battling. And I bet you whoever has the most money will end up winning. Okay. Notice the shape that I have drawn on here. Okay. You can look at it like that. Price may be stuck in here. Okay. Just like this. And the bigger move coming towards here or here. All right. So far as today is concerned, let's go ahead and pay attention to the accelerator down here. And that's going to be about 436 and a half. All right. If 436 and a half can hold, let's look for a move potentially in at around 454, 457, and then finally here into 462. Any sort of blowout, nice trending day, we could see this red box up at around 480. If we break down below that level that I gave you, 436 and a half, look for a potential test into this bottom area, which is also confluent with the trend line around 422 or so. Okay, and again, that was yesterday's close. All right, let's go ahead and look at Netflix. Netflix, what you should be thinking is where do I want to get long? Now, if we just look at trendy methodology here, good morning, John. If we just look at trendy methodology here, this is your range. Honestly, this is where I'd like to be looking at a long, or at least trying. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not going to bounce before then. Just look left and make this really simple on yourself. Look for the bigger candles, okay, and see if there's any buying pressure in here. Now, when we've had a big pullback, you want to typically give it anywhere 2 to 3 days. If you get a big pullback and it's just a bunch of BS to drop it into demand for institutions to take, then it's going to happen very quickly. It could happen on one day. All right. But here we have several days down. I'm looking to the left. I really don't see a lot of buying pressure. You could definitely get a relief bounce here with the market. But if it continues down and makes lower lows, I'd be setting alert somewhere in this area. And again, I don't have to trade that blindly. What I can do is wait until my alert goes off, wait for an inside candle, whether it's on a 30-minute, just depends on you, what is going to be your setup. And we talk about that and we teach that here. Very important to understand that. Everybody has a different trade plan, but we are using the trendy levels. Okay. So here, if for some reason we start to go bid and you find it on your time level, I could put my stops in and then look for that trade. We're creating a very nice range. I had a personal call not too long ago and it was really neat, really opened up people's eyes. When you're just looking at pattern recognition, you can come in here and you can find things. You ever play that game? One of these is not like the other. Okay. You start looking at different patterns of ranges and you can see that there's going to be arrows that match up with the other ones. And then you're going to have a few that don't, like these little guys, right? But they do match up with the smaller ones. Now, you can look at range over a year period and get a really idea what Netflix likes to do. After you do something like this, you can say, hey, Netflix on a year, it's very common that 2 to 3 times it may move, anywhere from, in this case, $100 3 times a year. On a smaller scale, it might move $15 6 times a year. Just something like that. So you can see by looking at this very quickly that my range and where I'm looking at possibly getting long these arrows are quite the same. Okay? That's called pattern recognition. So again, it doesn't have to come here, but there's a lot of confluence. There's pattern recognition, there's an inside and up formation, there's the trendy edge, and so forth. Okay? And I bet if we come over here to a higher time frame, maybe on the monthly, we may have some confluence with the EMA. Okay? So again, here's the EMA. Price pulls down. This may stretch up, being confluent with this box. So you may have a lot of things that make sense for a starter in this area. Okay? And then one last thing, let's just go ahead and look. Let's go ahead and measure this. This is the last rally. Check that out. You guys know what that means here, right? Look at that 38.2. Look at that 9 EMA. And look at this box. It's a lot of confluence here. All right, so be patient. On an intraday basis, sure, it can be traded if it starts trending up, but just look at it on a smaller time frame. I'm a little bit, I'm focused on a big pullback like this. I want to give it 2 to 3, 4 days, somewhere in there, and let's see if we can get our targets hit down here. Okay. All right, anything else out there? We have about 9 minutes to go. Piton. Here's a name that we haven't heard. So Ashley asked me last night if we could just buy each other the bike, right? I was like, well, do you want to get two? You know? She's like, no, we'll just share. You can buy two different shoes. All right, so we got a nice pullback. Okay, you can see that. Nice range. I bet if you were to measure this range right here, looks like maybe we pull back about 40%. Let's go ahead and look at that really quick. Right there, that range starts. And you can see, yeah, so about 40%. All right. So line in the sand for today would be that 120.05 level. Let's see if we can get over that. And if for some reason we can hold that 120.05, possibly you get a move into this EMA up here. All right, but I do see resistance at around 123 and a quarter by 124. All right. But definitely a nice little level here. And when we start to come into levels like that, I want to look at, earnings. When is earnings? 11.5. So it's not too far away. And looking at past history, we typically start to get a little bounce in here into earnings. Okay. All right, let's go back over to the ES. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down now, not take any more requests. And let's just look at the charts as we open up here. Like I said, ES is my driver for the entire market. And sure, I could throw NQ up here. I could throw the E-mini, but ES is just for many, many years now is my go-to. All right. And so I have a very nice strategy built around the ES. It's easy to teach, but it's also very handy. All right. Don't need to look at much more. All right. So we're going to put this right here. And so I was trying to figure out how you guys could hear some of my music, but really on a low tone for Discord. So that's what I was doing this morning. I was hoping you guys could hear it. It was showing that on my mic you should be able to hear it, but nope. All right. So again, 4 hour, you're trying to get above the 9. Still a big neutral area in here. And just really fast, hey Jay, are you listening by chance? What is I didn't update this yesterday, so I believe I need to change this line in the sand. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so ZM. It literally came right into a level. Give me 1 second. So this is 34334 today, guys. Just so you know, I didn't update that last night. So just a tad bit different. All right. All right, and then ZM. Let's see, we got 5 minutes. So check this out. I haven't touched this. This was the blueprint. All right. So you need to see it from this angle. Came right into the ME or the trendy edge and pushed up, Raoul. All right. So this was your blueprint. I know I gave this to you guys, right? Remember, we hit this, we made money up here. We rejected, pushed underneath the neutral, hit all targets back to the trendy edge, and then we open up bid. The problem is that you know the trade was yesterday on the close because you're coming into the edge. The issue is a lot of people have a hard time executing that, you know, because they don't trust the market or whatever. But you can see the levels work, and you can see here on a 4 hour, it's pushing you right into a little bit of resistance. But if we continue up here above 519, you could see a move into 520, 528 today. Okay. All right. Let's go over here back to ES. So what I would expect here on open, you guys understand this, right? This is called a negative positive. We are above the PMZ right now. And what I would expect is a move into the line in the sand and a rejection there. Okay. Not like a hard rejection. I just expect a move. That's what the levels suggest. So I've already started Apple. And again, I have my notes that I've sent out to you guys already. And we got Baba here as well. And we got about 3 more minutes. All right, 2 more minutes. I'm going to shut off Periscope. I appreciate you guys checking us out. We'll come back with the results a little bit later. And always come by TrendyTrading.co just to check us out. We do have a great special on trials right now, and you get a whole 7 days that includes videos, live trading, my picks, and so forth. There's a lot there. We'll see you soon.